All right. I am Linda Deer, and this guy.
This guy right Holly, right here, right behind the scenes, as usual.
Ready to play your hand, Ray?
I'm getting my hand ready to play.
All right. So here we go. And it's always so good to have you guys with us on Tuesdays. We're here every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. All right. Welcome to Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, episode number 250. Each week in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, I ask my spirit guides, what's the most important thing for you to know right now? We channel these insights using Ask the Universal channel, the same way your spirit guides and angels communicate with you in a private coaching session with me. Look for the links in this description of this video. Tonight, the spirit guides will be talking about playing the cards you were dealt. There you go, you guys. All right. This was published today in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. Use the search term Linda Deer to join us on Facebook, on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and my YouTube channel. And like always, Ray will be monitoring the feed for your questions and comments. So feel free to let me know what's on your mind regarding tonight's insight from any one of these platforms. All right. Playing the cards you were dealt. People reason that others get a better hand of cards to play in life. Some people are born into rich families who never seem to struggle, while others are born into poverty and struggle their entire lives. Let's look at the cards you were dealt. Are there any good hands or bad hands? No. There's only the cards you were dealt. It's what you do with them that makes the difference. Others are dealt weak hands and turn them into winning hands. At first, the person looks at their weak hand of cards and wonders how they're going to make anything of it. Since you can only play the cards you were dealt, you can't worry about the cards. You must create a strategy to play the cards that you were dealt. How it works. What happens when you come in with the hard hand to play? You play them. Trust in the wisdom of those cards you were dealt because they were carefully selected by you and your guides as you pre-planned this life. It is in the talents and gifts that you were given that gives you the edge to play those cards. Only you will know what it is, and it will be in how you play the cards that you will discover your own method, your strategy. All right. Okay, Ray, so what do you have?
Well, let's see. We have a comment from Viola.
Viola.
You remember Viola?
Now, where's Viola from?
The Netherlands.
Yes.
And she's probably now in the nether world, sleeping, dreaming.
That's true. She's on, what, 8 hours from us, Ray?
9 hours.
9 hours.
9 hours.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go.
Viola said, I was just thinking about making something good out of the corona situation, which is heating up again in the Netherlands.
Wow.
Since yesterday, new rules have been announced. I was waiting for the renewed rules, which probably will result in another lockdown in a couple of weeks. And I guess the same thing's happening in other places around the world. And when I read this insight, I guess that playing the cards is similar to making the best of it. And I like that. I would like to look past the current situation and not closing my eyes and go inside and do the writing, feel calm and relaxed, and work on freedom and free will for humanity and the world. That really drives me. That is what I really want to do. I really get excited when I think about that. What do the guides have to say about how we play our cards best in 2020? And Linda Deer responded, "You got it right, Viola. When we don't take all this personally or resist, we can see how to play the cards. It's a game. We signed up for it. So let's figure out what each one of our strategies will be. After all, we planned to experience all of this."
That's right. We spent more time planning this lifetime than we do living it.
Wow.
That is how important the cards, the way that you play your cards, that's how important it is. You can't get distracted and look at somebody else's cards and go, "Oh, you have better cards than I do. Well, I don't stand much of a chance, so I'll just give up. I'll find a shortcut. I'll find a way to." There's another part to this insight. I only read the excerpts from this insight. I'll find a way to bluff my way through. Okay, you know those kind of people. They cheat. They get around everything. They get caught a lot of times. I mean, a lot of people who bluff at cards. How many times that people bluff at cards do they actually pull it off?
Well, it depends how good they are.
What does good mean?
Good means the ability for them to read other people.
Do you hear that? That's your edge. That's your plan B. That's your ace in the hole. That's your strategy. Keep going. Ray's a very good card player.
I've played a few hands of Texas Hold'em in my lifetime. A lot of people who are good bluffers can read other people very well. Everybody has
Their survival depends on it.
Right. It's their survival instinct.
It is.
And when they look at all the other players at the table, they can tell by their face, their poker face, what they're thinking, what they're doing, what kind of hand they're holding. People make certain gestures when they have a good hand versus when they have a bad hand.
You mean like an automatic response?
A tell. It's called a tell.
Yeah,
they have a tell. They put their hands on their lips, or
they have a nervous tick.
Yeah, right. They have some kind of a nervous tick, or they smile a little bit.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you now, because this is how you play the game of life. You sit back. You don't just do all the talking, and you don't think you have all the answers. You don't think you're the smartest person in the room. If you think you've got the best hand, and you come in with a pair of aces and a pair of tens, and somebody comes in with the straight, it looks like a lousy hand, but they pull off a straight out of the blue sky. They beat your hand. Okay, so a lot of people think they've got it figured out in this world. They don't have to work at it. They've got an edge in some way. They were given something. You look at them and you think, well, maybe I should go with them because they seem to have it easy. All right. But then when when something happens to their financial strategy, their financial house falls apart, something went wrong, and they started from the beginning, but they didn't start from the beginning. They had it given to them. How much of a strategist do you think they are? Do you think they've had very much experience in life regarding how to play your hand, how to play your cards? Doesn't matter what your cards are. Does not matter. I came in with a terrible hand. I came in, my book Guided talks about it. My guides even told me that the first thing that I remember my guides telling me is life will get better for you as you get older, if you can make it through childhood. How about that hand of cards? And then my mother beat me all the time, okay, and almost killed me at 20 months old. How did I play that card? I was out of options. My cards were shot. I had the worst hand you could imagine. I did something. I pulled a rabbit out of the hat. I asked for someone to help me. And that's when they showed up all around me. How about that? Now that was way better than the best hand you could even imagine. It changed my life, what they conveyed to me.
Another thing that's interesting
awareness.
About having a good hand versus having a bad hand. or the appearance of a bad hand.
Right.
There's been studies done that people who have everything given to them in life, they inherited family money, and then they lost it all.
Oh,
Rarely do they make it up again.
that's true.
But somebody who builds up a fortune, makes their first $1 million and loses it all,
They come back.
they come back and they can redo it. They can
You-
recopy their steps
Well, you
and
know,
get it back.
and what Ray's saying here, Ray's right. What he's saying here is that person had to figure things out. They had to have strategies to get that first million, that first success. They don't realize it when they first lose their first million. when their first success goes against them at some point down the road, okay, they don't realize that they can do it again. A lot of them don't realize it, but because they perfected something that now they reinvent themselves because they've got some foundation to build it on. They learned from strategizing, okay, from figuring it out. That's it, you guys. You know what Viola was talking about in the writing? She was talking about the journal. These journals are the companion journal to Guided. These journals are Guided is how I did it. And if you read or listen to Guided, you'll see that I know what I'm talking about. This connection between two worlds and how it works in your favor, how it gives you the edge. That's what Viola's doing. She's writing in her journal every day, 15 minutes a day. You write down what's unusual or out of the ordinary that day. It happens every single day, but you guys are missing it because you're moving too fast. But if you take that 15 minutes before you start your day or before you go to bed, that 15 minutes of alone, quiet time, special time, and you write down what was unusual or out of the ordinary that day. I'm talking about figuring out your strategy, you guys. You write that down. And then you go in there and then you write down how it felt, what you wrote down. How did that feel? And then you realize what that is, what it's telling you, and you write that down. And now you can take some action. That's what Viola's doing. She's doing this every day. This is a process to bring you back into consciousness because you're not conscious. That's the only way your life can get out of spin, out of control. Okay, when you have this, you have the raw materials for your strategy.
Yeah, that's right. Once you start writing in your journal and following a strategy, okay,
Right.
all the questions you ask yourself that lead up to taking the action, that's just like getting dealt a weak hand. Anybody who gets dealt a weak hand, especially like in Texas Hold'em, when you get two cards, okay, and they look at it and it's a 4 and a 5, all right, and somebody else has an ace and the king or an ace and the jack or whatever. You know that you couldn't beat him with your two cards, but when the cards come out on the table, now all of a sudden your 4 or 5 turned into a 3 on the table and a 6 on the table. All you need is one more card. You need a 2
To get
a
it straight.
7 to get a straight. So now what looked like a horrible hand turned into possibly the winning hand. But at the point,
In other words, what Ray's saying, I'm going to interject. What Ray's saying is when you've got the cards you've gotten, and they may not look too impressive, don't give up.
play them.
Play the cards in fact, it's the only thing you can do is play the cards you have.
And when you first look at those two cards and say, "Oh, these are terrible. I should fold right now." A lot of people are conditioning themselves to fold right now, and I think in the long run,
It's called giving up.
yeah, I think maybe in the long run, you probably would be best to do that more often and hold them. But my point is, at that point, when you look at those two weak cards, there's a decision to be made. Just like when you're writing in your journal and asking yourself, how do you feel? How do I feel about these cards?
Right.
What do I realize?
Right.
Everybody else raised the pot, as it went around. Now I'm the last one. And what am I going to do? Do I call them and stay in, or do I fold them and get out?
What you do is you analyze your situation, like in your life. How do you analyze your situation in your life to figure something out? I'll tell you how you do it. You write it down. You write it down. You can't see it when you're in it. You've got to write down what you can see, what you are perceiving, what seems to be what's going on. And only when you write it down, this is called my journal writing. When you write it down, will you begin to see and feel what's going on. You guys aren't used to doing this. You're not used to being conscious. You're used to just slamming through your life. And it's not going to work anymore. You guys, everything's changing, okay? It's a new deck. So you've got to write this stuff down or you can't figure it out. You won't be able to figure it out. In the card game that Ray's talking about, you've got two cards and they don't look very good. And there's maybe 6 people at the table. And then you see all the cards that's being dealt out. You see those cards dealt out and you think to yourself, well, analyze it. Look at what's on the table, right, Ray?
Right.
And say, well, I've got these terrible cards, but for me to have a straight or pull something out of the hat here, for me to have something here, are those cards already dealt out on the table? If they are, the odds are not in your favor. Analyze it. If they're not, and you're not, okay, let's use this. You're not overextended. Okay, overextended in your life. If you're ever overextended and you know it and you're stressing out over it, you will make the wrong choice every single time.
Right.
So if you're playing that, using the analogy of this card game for your life, is you see those cards, and you think, well, it doesn't look like the cards I need aren't on that table. I mean, it looks like the odds are in my favor, but I put too much in the pot to start with for these kind of cards for me to take that risk, because somebody's going to up the ante and I've got to match it, and it's going to drive me up even higher and make me more nervous. And then I'm going to be an easy tail, right, Ray?
Right. Yeah, you're going to start sweating.
And everybody's going to see through you, and you're not going to pull that off.
Plus, if you need some more low cards, okay, to make your hand, chances are that everybody that got dealt low cards folded. They're gone.
Oh,
those cards are gone.
So those kind of people are that's usually what happens.
Yeah, people who have a bad hand, a 3 and a 4, or 3 and a 5, or a 10 and a 2.
But there is no such thing as a bad hand.
No, there isn't. If 10s and 2s come out on the table, you got a full house.
You got it. Okay. So you guys, it's about paying attention. How do you figure things out? The way you figure them out is a way that you're not used to doing it. Before you used to go ask your friends, ask your attorney, ask your pastor, I don't know, ask all these other people that really don't know your situation. They hear you talking like on the surface, and they're used to working with people like you, and they give you the same generic answer. And take this and you'll feel better in the morning. I mean, all that kind of stuff. That's not what you need. You need to make a decision. Okay, how do you do that? You're writing. You write down what you think it is, what you feel it is, and then you can realize actually what it is. Only then can you take an action. These are the 4 qualifying questions in every journal entry. You can't miss. This is a winning hand. This is how you get a winning hand. All right. Let's let the guides talk about this for a second, Ray, to these guys about what was Viola's question. She wanted to ask the guides about how do you
it was
okay.
What did the guides say about playing our hands in 2020?
In 2020. Now that's a whole new deck, isn't it, Ray?
Yep.
That's where that's at. Okay. I love this. Okay, here they go.
The 2020 deck is running out. At the beginning of the year, you may have felt that you had a better hand than you do now. Something caught you off guard that you didn't expect.
Right.
A pandemic. All of a sudden, your hand wasn't looking so good. In fact, you may have lost your job and not had any money to bet with,
To play out your life is what they're saying.
to play the hand
Right.
that you had at the beginning of the year.
Right.
However, did you fold at the right time, or are you still looking for that final card to be dealt that makes your hand a winner? It depends on the decisions you made along the way. Did you make them from greed, or did you make them from a place of gratitude for the cards you did have? Looking at the same cards with a negative attitude or a positive attitude affects the outcome of the hand every time, because even playing cards is energy moving around the table.
That's right. That's right. It's alive. It's the people that bring it to life. It's the energy that brings it to life, just like your life.
It's the player's energy too.
That's right.
I'm always amazed at the people who can take a hand that was just absolutely terrible, a deuce and a six, and just hang on to it and bluff everybody out. Bluff everybody else into folding their hands.
You know what that is? That's
a strategy.
That's a strategy. And what that is they're playing with people that are not as confident as they are.
Right.
Okay. They know how to play their emotions. Okay. How many times have people played your emotions? Who do we have with us today?
We have over here Elizabeth Escuzzi and Kathy Cartagena.
Great.
And Ray Holly. See Ray Holly on the screen here. And there's some other ones in the background.
Yeah, there's some. Okay. So it about playing your cards, playing the hand that you were dealt. I came into this life, I'm just going to say it again. I came into this life with a terrible hand. But you know what, you guys, when I came here, I remember the feeling of coming here. I couldn't wait to get here. I was so excited about coming here because I felt like I could do anything once I got here. You know that you guys felt like that too? I just remember it. That's the only difference between me and you, is I remember it. And I remember it because of that encounter I had, my first contact to my spirit guides and angels and light beings happened at 20 months old. That what they did is they let me see things. My hand that I was dealt in this life, that they helped me pick the cards so I could be challenged by this. I could become more in this lifetime than I was before I came here. I came here to get something done. All right. First I had to get it done for myself. I had to achieve this understanding that living in two worlds simultaneously and keeping my guidance to myself and not taking things personally and not resisting the guidance when it showed up, even though I was under pressure in this world constantly. That's how I played my hand. And I didn't see how the cards were going to play. I really didn't see how they were going to play until I was 16 years old. And I finally got out of that family and my life took off. I had one success after another. I knew when to get out of a situation at just the right time every time. Now, did I always hear what I wanted to hear? Guidance coming through? No. Some of it was very sad that they let me know and gave me a heads up and a warning about, Linda, this is, prepare yourself because this is going to happen. So do this and do that so that when it does happen, it won't, it's like being on the railroad tracks. You're on the railroad tracks, there's no train, you're playing with your toys or whatever. And then all of a sudden the train's coming. And all you have to do is get off the tracks. Danger's coming. Something mammoth is coming. A recession's coming. Someone's going to die. Something's going to happen. You can't help it. And all you do is you get yourself off the tracks so the train can go by and then you can get back on there and do what you want to do. But here's where people have a problem. They don't want to hear anything bad. They don't want to experience a challenge. They don't want to do the work. Get off the tracks, or they can't handle reality. Oh, I don't want to believe that. I don't want that to be happening. I don't want that to be true. Hey, those are your cards. That's reality. That's what's going on. Okay, you've been given a heads up. You wrote it down in your journal, hopefully 15 minutes a day, the unusual and out of the ordinary. So you could begin to identify the train coming down the tracks before it runs over you. Okay. Yeah. And then even if you have a lousy hand, like I did, you guys, I got to tell you, I had a great childhood in the sense that I had this relationship with my guides throughout my childhood, and I could see through people's intentions. I could figure things out. I never asked anybody for their opinion. I went right to the source. I went to my guides and I just go, okay, what am I not seeing? And I would feel it come through and I would know what it was. And I started journaling at 7 years old and I saw it on the pages. I had the answers I needed. That is why I know this works. This is your strategy. This will flush out how you play those cards. There's no bad cards.
Yeah, there isn't. And with the analogy of the train tracks, you always get a warning.
Always.
The train's coming. You can feel the rails, or the ground starts shaking a little bit.
That's energy, Ray.
There it is.
That's energy.
Feel the rails.
Just like in the card game.
Oh, train's coming.
Should we
get up off the tracks or not?
So, Ray, how does that card game feel similar to that? He's played a lot of cards.
Oh, yeah. I think that the people who do not follow their instincts, that follow the signs, that look for the other person's tell. This person kind of winces when they have a bad hand. This person kind of smirks when they have a good hand.
Or goes,
or they scratch their hand, or they pull their ear, whatever. There's always a signal. It just takes you to learn it.
It's called body language.
Right.
So you learn how to live in this world. You learn how to read what's going on. Most importantly, you learn how to listen to the guidance that's coming through. See, they call that intuition. Ray has amazing intuition. So he'd have a hand and it didn't look like a good hand. And he had seen all the other cards and he did analyze it, but his intuition told him to stay in. And how often did your intuition work against you?
Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Most of the time.
It worked for him.
Yeah.
Right. So your intuition is another element of this. And how do you perfect your intuition? Here she goes again. You write down in your journal at least 15 minutes a day about what's unusual and out of the ordinary. You guys, if you do this for just 1 month, you're going to start looking back at what you wrote, how it felt, what you realized, and the action you intend to take. And you're going to read through this and you're going to go, well, I can figure this out. The worst thing I could do is ask somebody for their opinion and completely give me the wrong answer. You can feel it when you get the wrong answer. You can feel it when somebody means well, but they're not you. They don't know what it feels like to be you. Only you do. And your guides. Only you and your guides can see that. But you have to do your part in order to flush it out. And this book is called My Journal Writing, Your Roadmap to Consciousness. Okay? I do training on this, you guys. I've got a training course on my website. Look for training and you click on it and you'll see all about it. All right.
Yeah, the training.
The training gets you through it. It gets you in a habit of doing it. And I show you the importance of it as we review what you wrote. And then I show you what it's telling you. I show you with that hand of cards, what's really in that hand of cards for you.
I think a lot of the times, I want to say most of the time, that people who journal or try to follow this or that course, and they fail at it, is because they didn't have anybody to talk to about the things that were bothering them that they couldn't talk to anybody else about.
And here's what happens. Ray's absolutely right. Here's what happens when you don't have anybody either to talk to or who listens. I mean, really hears you. Okay. What happens is you go wong, wong, wong. You go in circles and you keep doing the same thing. Of course you do. You can't see it when you're in it, but I can. Okay. I have learned to do this. So you guys, you all have a great hand. You all have an absolutely fabulous hand. It's how you play those cards. And stay focused on your hand. Don't get distracted and look over there and go, well, she's prettier than me. Well, they have more money than me. Well, they had it easier than me. You know,
You can't blame your cards.
you can't blame if I did that, the odds were against me in my life when I first entered. And if I had done that, I never even thought that my cards weren't going to work out for me. I couldn't. Here's why. When my mom said to me, here's what was the real game changer for me. My mom said to me, she goes, I'm going to break your spirit, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. I was about 4 years old when I remember her saying that to me the first time. And I looked at her and I used to blow her off, just let her talk because she was always coming up with nonsense. All right. And I knew it. I just went, God, I don't want to even get involved with her. And that's one time I really got pissed. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? You can't break my spirit. You will have to kill me. I will never let you do that. I called her. She threw a hand at me. She bluffed me.
Tried to bluff you.
And she tried to bluff me. And I called her on it. That's how I played some of my cards. I played those cards early in my life. So I learned in that moment, what I learned from that is I was somebody who could not accept defeat. I learned that about myself at 4 years old. I can't accept defeat. I just can't stand it. Maybe, and that was another reason why I started journal writing, because I had to know what the heck is going on here, especially in this family I came into, and figure it out, because I just would not accept it. Okay. You guys do not accept defeat. What's going on in our world right now is going on out there. Do not accept anything that's going on out there as defeating you. You've got your cards to play, and your cards are awesome. You have this connection to your guides, to your guidance. You guys can't miss. Okay. You write down every day what's going on with you between that and this guidance. In fact, as you write in your journal, you're going to see guidance bleeding through your writing. It's called automatic writing. It's just going to start. It's the ace. It's the advantage. It's the edge. That's all you need. You guys have what you need. You have the gifts and talents that you need. And your guides came here and followed you here, just like mine did. This will help you remember it. This will help you feel it. Once you feel it, you guys, you'll never be without your answers again. You will have strategy. You will love strategy. You'll just ooze with strategy, because that's what this is all about. Life is a big chess game, a big card game, a big game. It's an illusion, you guys. Don't take this too seriously. Don't take it personally, okay? You take it personally, you're sitting there, you're shivering with your cards. everyone can read you. You're just a target, you know, like a little kitten sitting along the side, shaking. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. You know, that's just okay.
Like when they're just getting ready to pounce, and they start wiggling. You know, they're so excited they can't stop wiggling. That's their tell.
That is their tell.
That you need to back off.
You just need, yeah. When you write your journal, you guys are going to smooth out. You're going to smooth out your style. You're not going to be anybody's victim. You're going to play those cards with. In fact, here's what happens when you play the cards you have, and you accept the cards you have, and you live it. Okay, what happens is you will get new cards, better cards, because you learned what you came here to learn.
Yeah, you get another hand. You get a better hand.
You get a better hand because you earned it, because you're the one that produced that. You've got more together. You understand more. You know how to access the answers. You've got the guidance. You're not just in this world. You're in this world too. Now you've got the edge. So what do we have, Ray?
Jay Handy joined us. Hello,
Jay. How about those cards, Jay? Come on, Ray. Where are those cards? Give a little sound bite here.
Sound bite.
Yeah, a little here. This is for Jay Handy. Yeah. Instead of going like this, Jay, Ray's going to do this. All right.
Oh,
here you go.
Jay's a poker player. Now.
Oh, he plays cards. I know he does.
He plays harmonica.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Here they go. Yeah. Play the hand you were dealt, Jay. All right. So who else do we have, Ray? We've got some more over there, right there. You guys have questions and comments about what we're talking about here. This is an opportunity to have the guides reply to you.
Same people, a lot of people lurking in the background.
Okay, you lurkers. Okay. Okay, Ray. So,
you know, look at, how do you feel when you leave the game, the poker game, the card game, and you lost everything?
Ooh.
I mean, I know a lot of professional poker players, okay, and even the non-professionals, the semi-pros that I know. All they want to talk about is their bad beats, how they almost won, but at the last minute something happened. They're blaming something happened, and the wrong card came out on the table.
Ooh. Okay. So the wrong card. You know what that is? That's a lesson. You're either living one or two things. You're either living your life through lessons, ouch, or you're living your life through experiences. Now, that's where you want to be. You don't want to just have a whole bunch of lessons tossed at you, although that's what came to me. That's how I came into this world, loaded with lessons, all right? Karmic lessons, all right. But I played those cards, you guys. I played those tough, hard cards, okay? I played them with skill I didn't even know I possessed, all right? I made this connection to my guides, and I was living in two worlds. I saw what was going on, and I kept my cards, what do they call it when you keep it?
Close to your chest.
Close to my chest. I didn't let anybody know about these guides helping me. I didn't let anyone know what I knew. I kept it to myself. Keep your guidance to yourself. So there, I was not going to be a victim just because I got those bad cards. I wasn't going to be a victim. I had the advantage. I had the edge. I knew things, and I was learning so many things. And here's what happened. By the time I got out of that house, when I was a kid, out of the childhood, my life just took off. So I mean, I was one success after another because I was used to my guides letting them help me and giving me a heads up about what to get into at any given time, what to get out of. You play your cards, listen to your intuition, your guidance. It's always there. But if you don't write it down, here I go again. If you don't write down what came through, unusual, out of the ordinary, you'll forget it. It'll be like a dream you had. You woke up and you remember the dream, and then 10 minutes later, you can't remember it. Poof. There goes your opportunity. There goes your edge. You got to write it down, you guys. You can't see it when you're in it. How do you become conscious? You just write it down. That's how I learned. That's how I overcame my shortcomings as a kid, is writing it down and then looking back at it. But boy, was I careful where I put my journal. Boy, was I careful. I did not let anyone see my hand. In other words, see how I was figuring things out. And how I perceived them was totally different than anybody. If I had gone to anybody for advice, it would have been a waste of my time. They would have told me things that were completely unrelated to what I was experiencing. So you guys have your own cards. You have your own strategy. You have your own, you planned this. These cards you have, that you have, that you've been given, the gratitude you need to have for that. If you have gratitude for that, you will figure this out. You will make the best out of the hand that you were given, and you will get a better hand. And that's called, once you work through your lessons, then you will have experiences. You will have better cards, experiences.
Yeah, and the more experiences you have, the better your belief system gets too. You know, all your beliefs that you have, that you make decisions with, decide what action to take. All those decisions are based in your beliefs, and your beliefs were something that were formulated through experiences you had.
Now, this is an important point that Ray's making. If your beliefs are working against your strategy, you'll just stay in a constant cycle of lessons. Because your attitude, your belief system is off track. Okay, let me use another example. As a kid, I didn't really have a belief system, not as a kid. I came in and everything was new. I mean, I'm just getting hit with this and that. And I have this experience with my guides. They come to my rescue. And from then on, they're there for me they're always there for me, not just when I need them, but they're always there for me. Okay. In my dreams, in my daylight, in my quiet time, in the sandbox, riding my bike. I mean, they were always there sending me messages. I was constantly aware of what to do next. Before I would even get home, my mom was really, she was really angry and constantly screaming and attacking me. Okay. And even before I got home, I could feel the energy that I was walking into. So I would know, okay, when you get home, make a right, go to your bedroom, just keep it on, keep it cool. Don't, whatever you do, don't antagonize her in any way. Don't, cause any trouble. Okay. Definitely don't talk about anything that you're concerned about, your own life, about what you're experiencing, maybe your schoolwork, maybe at school, maybe something that happened when you were at the park. That would never be a consideration. I figured that out on my own. I never told my brothers. I never let anybody in. They thought they knew me. I played a hand that was so covert that there was nobody. In fact, I was married twice before Ray, and both of those people, oh, the stuff that they pulled was incredible. And I kept my cool. I had learned this so well, this discipline, that they could never read me throughout the whole thing. I didn't get hurt in those relationships when I got out of them, not at all. Because I knew how to play my hand. And there was a lot on the table, you guys, but I knew how to play my hand. All right. I kept my cool. I stayed connected. I wrote down to myself what the heck was going on, so I didn't lose my edge. You guys, it's all about this. Once you read guided or listen to guided, I also did produce guided in audiobook format, and I read it. Once you see how I did it, you'll want to know about these books. All right. It's the shortcut. It'll take the pain away. It'll make so much sense of your life. What the heck happened in 2020? you're going to know. You're going to know how it applies to you on the highest level. You're going to know how to play your hand going forward. All right, great. Do we have anybody have a question or a comment?
No,
Okay,
no.
not. Okay, I guess we're just really a lot of fun, you guys. All
We
right.
are. What kind of commercials? We have to pay for this somehow. We have any commercials?
Oh, commercials. Yeah. Okay, well, we're getting to the end of it anyway.
Oh,
right?
I know.
What?
I bet a lot of people missed the webinar.
Well, I'm going to talk about that
That
webinar.
was, oh my goodness. that was
Yeah,
great.
that was a great webinar. We've got, what do we have? We have one review so far on the webinar. On that, yeah, on that.
Two.
We do we, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, before we close the session and have the guides close it about today's session, about playing the cards you were dealt, all right, and how to play those cards. I'm going to talk about a few announcements here. Next, or October 16th, we will be streaming live on my Facebook page, Facebook timeline, and YouTube channel. Use the search term, Linda Deer. This will be a Q&A and commentary for next Tuesday's Insight published in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. That's going to be episode number 251. Okay, we've been doing these since the middle of 2014. I bet you guys didn't know that. And these insights are, Linda's Weekly Guided Insights are all about navigating you through the uncertain world that you are now living in from the guides. Okay, so Linda's Weekly Guided Insights with me, Ray, and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will be talking about having a just cause. Having a just cause is spawned from your passion, but requires extra work. Most people do not have a cause they are dedicated to, and that's why so many problems have perpetuated in your world. These are the guides talking. Having a just cause means going the extra mile. That's what I learned to do as a kid. I didn't just survive that childhood, I thrived. Most people feel they don't have the time to go that extra mile, to put in the necessary work to establish and maintain a just cause. Humanity is transitioning out of a bare minimum, finite existence into a just cause, infinite existence. That's what 2020 is all about. With so many people missing out on their just cause, it's no wonder the world is in so much distress. Their lives have no meaning as their reason for being here eludes them. So you don't want to miss that. Sign up for Linda's Weekly Guided Insights. It's on my website all over the place. It's free. And these are published every Tuesday. Start getting Linda's Weekly Guided Insights delivered to your email box each Tuesday. The link to sign up is in the description of this video. Training with Linda. I'm talking about these two books here. My Guided Journey and My Journal Writing. I teach this, okay? Like Ray said, it's not easy to do on your own because you haven't had the discipline, you haven't had the awareness about how to do it, but I get you right through it. When you go to the page where you buy these, you'll see reviews on people I've trained and what they have to say about it. And the link for the training is in the description of this video. The replay of our webinar entitled Linda Live, The Light Beings, Nothing is as it appears to be. Everything will change over the coming months. On September 26th, that was last Saturday, the light beings pointed out the truth versus the propaganda. So you are not drawn in to an agenda. The next few months will test you. So you get look for the link to this webinar in the description of this video. You can get the replay. On Thursday, October 1st, this Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, you can join us on our Facebook private group, Ask the Universal Channel. We have a special private group just so you can learn how to use this. You'll see how the people, the teachers that we taught use this. They're just as fast as we are. And they learned it over Zoom.
Mhm.
We didn't teach them physically. We taught them over Zoom, and that's how they teach you. They do the teaching now,
Free.
and it's free. It's amazing, you guys. And you learn how to communicate with your guides, and you learn how to do it the right way. Okay. The teachers of Ask the Universal Channel will perform the following. Joy will ask her guides if there is a special way to practice when you are starting out. Now, these are the teachers of Ask the Universal Channel, going to be channeling guidance for you, okay, to watch. Veronica will ask her guides why freedom is so important. And Kathy's guides want to talk about how you can stay connected during the conflict of the upcoming elections. That's going to be interesting, all right? This event will be hosted by Linda Deer and Ray Hawley. So look for the instructions on how to join this private Facebook group in the description of this video. And this Saturday, October 3rd, at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I will be reading from chapter 21 of Guided. Join me on my Facebook page, Facebook timeline, and on my YouTube channel. So we're going to get around to the closing message here, Ray, from the guides. And oh, by the way, if my work, everything I do about these insights, about the books available, I've got 5 books available on Amazon now, about reading from my books on Saturday, about learning how to use Ask the Universal Channel, and about our monthly webinars the last Saturday of each month, and about my coaching, one-on-one coaching and training, has helped you, or you know somebody it can help, tell them about us, all right? Share this video. All right.
All right.
Okay, Ray, and we're going to close this session about playing the cards you were dealt. And how you do that. Okay, and here they go.
How to play the cards you were dealt. First, stop and listen to understand the situation and not just listen to reply to it.
In other words, what they're saying there, not just listen to reply to it, not just trying to outthink what you're going to say after somebody says something. Get out of that. Stop doing that. And just be present and hear what's being said. Hear what's not being said.
Mm-hmm. Rather than planning to observe later on after the final card is dealt, observe in order to plan. Focus on what you have in your hand and play with aggression in accordance with your intuition and inner directives.
Boldness. When you know you've got it, when you know you've done the listening, you're paying attention, you're hearing what's not being said, you're really sharp and tuned in. When you take action, be bold about it. Don't be, be, what's the word? Timid. Okay.
Yeah, don't give away your tell there.
No, you come in strong. You come
Right.
in all in. You know,
All in.
and here's my philosophy. You're either in it or you're not. Okay, if you're gonna go that way, if you're gonna be all in, then do it all the way. Do not hold back. Give it everything you have. That's how I pulled it off, you guys. But when I knew the odds were against me and something wasn't right, I knew how to course correct. I knew how to listen to the guidance, course correct, and and hold them, fold them, run away. What is hold,
Fold them.
walk away and run,
Walk away and
or
run.
what, or run. I knew exactly what to do. Hold them, fold them, walk away, or run. You will not know how to do that until you start writing it down. Okay, treat yourself. Okay.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for being with us tonight rather than watching that boring Biden and Trump, debate.
That's going to be interesting. Oh my
Well,
God.
you never
You
know.
got, you know what, you guys, that's happening out there. Okay. You have
Right.
to pay attention to your own cards and play that hand. All right.
Okay.
You know how to do it now.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good
We'll
night.
see you again soon.
Soon.